engineering to make sure that we didn't have any budget issues, and kind of retooled the design a little bit while still adding everything that the parks wanted. And that'll break ground this week. There's no, unless you're putting one together, not a groundbreaking ceremony for that, because it's just.
We typically try to save all the hoopla for the end. It's not quite as exciting without
Something behind it. So on the projects that we didn't have a groundbreaking, there'll be a dedication. And I think I've covered all the ones that are active right now.
Meadowlark should be going out to bid within the next month or so.
Fire headquarters is proceeding strongly. Station 41.
Oh, yes, 41 is in
begun.
programming to get the firefighters much better living conditions.
And then within the next month to 2 months, we'll start public input for Lawrence W. Inlow Park and for River Heritage Park. So we'll be going into full mode for planning, so construction and starting those next year.
And I think Monon and the International Gardens, that's down the road.
That is, yes, that has been one of the longer design processes I've seen, and it's just being refined, and thanks to Mary for handling most of the garden side, and the Monon side is just, it's a moving target, but 70% plans were submitted last week. The city has those, and they're under review by the city. I did get good news from the city engineer that the mayor looked through them and had no comments, so he was very pleased
Good,
with
too.
the Monon section.
Yo, wahoo. I just want to say thank you for all the work. There's a lot that goes on behind the scenes. I've enjoyed working on the gardens and talking with the various people, and there are several other meetings. As I said, I went out to Conner Prairie and went through all of that, and it just really, it's great to be part of something exciting.
Michael, you want to tell us about your new purchase and stuff, since you're here? You want to talk about that a little bit?
I'll go to the microphone, so it's easier for the video to pick up. We're very excited that last week we closed on almost 27 acres of new parkland in northwest Carmel at the southwest corner of 146th Street and Shelbourne Road. Another one of the top 4 priorities within our current master plan, as well as previous master plans, was acquiring additional parkland on the west side of Carmel. Currently, we only have West Park, that's within the Carmel Clay Park system, west of Meridian US 31. Obviously, the county has Cox Howell Gardens, so there's 2 parks serving the community there, but the west side has been certainly our growing side of the community and in much need of additional parkland. So we're very excited about having this parkland. It actually it's basically the beginning of Bear Creek, which ultimately flows into Little Eagle Creek. Not a real big creek, but it still provides some topographical interest or geographical interest. It also has some rolling topography. Some additional prairies and trees have been planted, so we've got the beginnings of a nice natural component to the park. We'll do within the next year or so a new master plan for that park so that it'll guide the future development. I would anticipate development's going to be probably in that 2 to 5 year time frame, just because we obviously need to have the funds in order to do the master plan, but the master plan's the first step to identify exactly how much we need in funding. This was all purchased with park impact fees, so all basically effectively user fees for the new residents that are creating the demand for the additional parks within the community, help pay for the acquisition of that park. So we're very excited about that, and thanks for asking.
Can I ask one question? I've been asked a lot.
Yes, ma'am.
Are you going to have a place like Monon 2 out there in order to have exercise areas available?
So that's one of the things that I think the master plan will help determine. I don't like giving a lot of pre-composed, I really like the public driving the master plan as far as what we develop. I mean, I can envision obviously some of the basics, trails, playgrounds, those types of amenities within the park. I anticipate that there will be probably a site located for a second community center or larger facility to support the community, whether that's something that's developed within that 2 to 5 year time frame or a longer time frame, that I can't predict at this point in time. I know as we were preparing the current master plan, we were looking at when is the appropriate time to develop that second facility. And as recently as about 2 to 3 years ago, we hadn't met that threshold yet, if the goal is to make sure that both the Monon Community Center and a new facility are both self-sufficient. Would there be incredible demand for it? Absolutely. Would it be well used? Absolutely. Would it cover its expenses? Most likely not. So we determined at that particular point in time, as we were actually looking at some of the planning for West Park, that maybe this isn't the time yet, because we don't want to have one facility, let alone potentially pull the Monon Community Center out of self-sufficiency. But I do think that time will ultimately come where we can truly support 2 community centers, and this is certainly a potential location for that.
Thank you.
I should note that as I talk about self-sufficiency, COVID-19 has obviously played havoc on the parks budgets this year for our self-sufficient budgets. The Monon Community Center, I will definitely not be self-sufficient, but thanks to the management and support that we've had over the years from the park board, from this board, as well as city council, we have more than sufficient reserves to weather this rainy day this year, potentially into next year as well. So even though, just like many businesses around the country, we're not going to break even this year, we do have the reserves so that there will be no tax dollars needed to support that operation, which has always been ongoing.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Michael.
I have a question for you, Matt. Didn't, in the plans when we went out to the meetings for the new building by the Dad's Club, aren't there places that people can exercise there, the public?
There's it's the walking track. The big focus was on the silver sneakers, and the population segment from their original study that needed it most was 55 and over, that wanted a place to indoor walk. And we've made sure to provide that, and the Dad's Club will make sure that's available to them whenever they need to use it. As far as apparatus and equipment, no, there's not the space for that.
I've been asked a lot of questions, and I wanted it to officially come from here.
But there will be open hours for the public at that facility that anybody of any age can go over and do yoga or stretch or kick the ball around or whatever it is they like to do.
Thanks.
Any other comments? Motion to adjourn?
I so move.
Motion.
I would second adjournment at not 8:38.
That's good. So moved. Second. All in favor, say aye.
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 Aye. Opposed, same side. Meeting adjourned.